So whether you want to pay the money or not, in this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between a $15 capture card you get on Amazon and of course the well-known Camlink. Now I've done the work, I've done the test, you don't have to worry. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need. Let's take a look. Yo, what's the deal guys? How are we doing today? My name is Joshua Lopez and I'm here to help you grow and elevate your live stream and gaming experience. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. But if you're coming back, thanks for coming through. So we all know that Elgato is really well known for all of their streaming and gaming stuff. And of course, it's pretty trusted. Well, this $15 capture card has been making a lot of noise, but good noise. And I've honestly recommended to a lot of my friends just to get it because it's cheap. I've personally purchased 5 just because of its price point. Now the quality is great, but I've never done a side-by-side comparison to see what the difference really is. So we'll be going over the audio latency, also the color range it has, and of course the quality. So if you have any questions about these cards, please drop them down below. Or if you want to see the quality of my stream, I am on Twitch pretty regularly, so hit me up there. But before we begin, what is the purpose of a capture card? Well, a capture card takes any DSLR or mirrorless camera and takes the HDMI feed and it converts it to a USB so that our computers can read. Therefore, because it's going through the HDMI, we get a higher quality video signal. Yes, you can go ahead and get your camera and you can use a USB device and use the applications that each of these partners have. However, the quality is not going to be as good as the capture card, strictly because it's not going through the HDMI cable. So what are you going to get when you purchase each one of these cards? The cheap $15 capture card is only going to come with the capture card. You're not going to get anything else. It doesn't come with any cables, doesn't come with any instructions. Actually, the instructions are on the box, but you just get the capture card. But when you do get the Camlink, you're going to get a little bit of stuff. You're going to get an instruction manual. You're also going to get a sticker, and the Camlink does come with a USB 3.0 extension. Getting into the specifications for the cheap capture card, this capture card can only do 30 frames, but it can do it at 1080p or 720. Now the box did say it does 4K, but it's not a 4K output. It's a 4K input. So you can have a camera doing 4K, but it's going to downscale it to a 1080p or 720, which I really don't think it's going to be a good option. In addition, it is not USB 3.0, it is USB 2.0, which is a little bit slower than 3.0. As far as specifications for the Camlink, this can do 720 at 30 frames and 60 frames. It also does 1080p at 30 and 60 frames, and it also does 4K, but only at 30 frames per second. And the major difference between this capture card and the cheap capture card is that this one is actually USB 3.0. As you can see on the Camlink, we do have the blue for the 3.0 and we do have white for the cheap 2.0. Now that we know the specifications, let's take a look at the real world situation so that we can determine which one is actually best for us. I'll be showing each capture card individually, and then after that I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison so that we can see more or less how each one really compares to each other. Hey guys, this is the cheap capture card. As I go through this demonstration, please pay attention to the audio and my lips just to see how it syncs. I'll do a clap test so you can get an idea. At the same time, please pay attention to the colors. You can see the darkness of my t-shirt. Also look into the closet where there's a bright light. Microphone check 1, 2. My name is Joshua, and if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so now. Now we are going through the Camlink 4K. As I go through this demonstration, please pay attention to my lips so that you can see the audio sync between me talking and you actually hearing. Also pay attention to the color. I would say look at my shirt because it's really black, and then also look into the closet because there's a bright white on there. That's what you're going to want to compare. Microphone check 1, 2. Microphone check 1, 2. If you're not subscribed already, please consider doing so now. Thank you. Now I am using the Elgato HD60 Pro. This is not a USB device. It goes directly onto your motherboard. Generally speaking, this should be faster and have a lower latency. I wanted to include this in the test so that you can compare it to the Camlink. The Camlink had some great latency. However, if you pay a little bit more, are you able to get even better? So again, pay attention to the colors. You got the dark blacks on my t-shirts. You also have the white bright light in the closet. Pay attention to my mouth as I am doing the audio test so that you can see the sync. I'll also do a clap test. And of course, if you're not subscribed already, please consider doing so now. If you have any questions, please drop them down below as well. As we take a look at each of these cards, we see that they all look really good. Very acceptable. However, there are major differences with each one. As we look at the cheap capture card, we can see it's not as sharp as the other two. And as far as the color, it is super overly saturated, as you can see the red in my face. However, since we are paying $15 to $30 for this capture card, we really can't ask for much, and it's pretty acceptable. Getting to the Camlink 4K, it's a whole lot sharper, as we can tell. It's not overly saturated, however, it does look a little bit washed out. Now, color can be adjusted in OBS, but we're not really going there. We want to just look for what it really is. But overall, it is a huge step versus the cheap capture card. As we look into the HD60 Pro capture card, this one is extremely sharp, way better than the other two. And as we look at colors, they seem to be a whole lot more natural. It is not oversaturated, and interesting enough, it is not washed out either. Now, I think the biggest factor that we really need to take into fact is the latency between each of these capture cards. Now, note that the audio latency is the latency between my USB device and my audio device. Yours might be different depending if you're using a USB mic or a different audio interface. However, the intervals between each capture card will most likely stay the same. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, how did you calculate the latency between each? Well, it was actually rather simple. I recorded, I put it into Premiere Pro, I just put where the audio and the video sync up together. I took a look to see how much distance away as far as time was, and that's how I was able to get the actual time. So for the cheap capture card, it was 40 milliseconds behind. The Camlink was half of that at 20 milliseconds. And surprisingly enough, the HD60 Pro was half of that at 10 milliseconds behind. So given the price of $15 for the cheap capture card, the results are pretty standard to its price. However, if we're judging a capture card based on its latency only, which is half of the Camlink, that would put it at $80, since that's half the price. However, this is only $15 to $30, so I feel this is no slouch at all. And honestly, it's still a capture card that impresses me today. Now, who's this capture card for? Well, if you're a beginning streamer, or you're only doing conference calls or doing any type of teaching, I would recommend not pay $120, just get the cheap capture card. If you're only trying to do one task and it doesn't really require a high quality, it's good for you. But if you're someone who's really dedicated to streaming, wants the utmost quality, I would say yes, go ahead and invest in the Camlink. Now, you don't have to go the route I do with the HD60 Pro, but if you choose to, you can go ahead and do that because it does have the lowest latency and the best video quality. But at the end of the day, this is your dollar, this is your quality. You let me know, what do you think? Do you have one of these cards, or will you be picking up one of these cards? Did I help you solve any problems you have? Is there something else that you would like to know? Well, again, drop the comments down below. So in the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Game up, stream up. Peace.